Are you ready? Are you ready? Because you're about to get that new income. This is the time for you to really buckle in because your money is here. It's here. You're going to be wealthy. Hi, my name is Deja. I do everything beauty, fashion, and personal life advice. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel, and if you are returning, then welcome back. Let's jump straight into it. So the reason I say that you will be wealthy is because if you've clicked this, I'm assuming you have the mindset of someone who wants to be a millionaire. I'm assuming you have the mindset of someone who wants to build their own brand, build their own business. Even if it's just getting a higher paying job, you click this possibly because you're looking for that and you need someone to tell you. And even if you don't, I got you, because like I said, it's already here. Like, you're gonna be wealthy. So stepping into this new journey of a woman or a man or whoever you are in being wealthy is you need to make sure that you declutter your mind, okay? Especially if you're going into entrepreneurship or just like business in general. Social media is a main source that can clutter your mind because we can get overstimulated, we can take in too much information. That's actually a thing. You take in so much information, maybe some of it doesn't stick, maybe you get overwhelmed, like whatever the case may be. I say the first step into tapping into your wealthy era is to declutter your mind and sit down and just tell yourself, like, what is something I can do right now? Because we look at what everyone else is doing. What are the steps you are taking to step into your potential? Like, what are you doing at this moment? Another thing that I would recommend when stepping into your wealthy season is to really pay attention to your finances. Really was not a fan of finances initially, but after a while I realized how important money is, and I realized that money is like a main way that America operates. I can't speak for everywhere, but I feel like America is very like money based. And so you don't want to, step into your potential and make all this money, and then your bills are more than what you can afford after some point. Or you make all this money and you blow it because you're making poor financial decisions. So I'd say when you're doing this and when you're stepping into your potential, whatever the next steps you need to do to become your higher self and to become the wealthier version of you, you already know who that is. You already know who that looks like. And if you don't, then have some time to figure that out. But make sure you are financially stable, or make sure you have the steps in place to get yourself financially stable. Whatever that may look like for you, make sure you at least start on that, because finances is a crucial part in becoming a wealthy person. Even if you're not even wealthy yet, finances are just more important than I initially thought it was. So yeah, I definitely think that is something that we all need to pay attention to. And yeah, because I'd hate for you guys to take off and say you're making like 10K a week, and then boom, all of a sudden over time, like your bills accumulate to over like 14K that you have to pay weekly. I don't know how that would happen, but like it happens to someone out there. So you just want to make sure when you do become wealthy, you're not shooting yourself in the foot later on. So we already know you're gonna be that millionaire, you're gonna be the first person, second person, whoever, but you are here because your mindset isn't like everyone else's, and I respect that. And when you do become wealthy, I want you to come back and be like, Deja, like, oh my gosh, like, how did you know? And I know this because I just know, like, there's like-minded people out there. You click this for a reason. And when you step into your wealthy era, if there's things that you've been wanting to do or clothes you've been wanting to get, even if you can't get it right now, say you want like Louis Vuitton, right? Even if you can't afford it right now, at least get something nice for yourself. Dress like the person you want to be. Dress like your future self. For me, for example, like I used to wear just anything. I'm not kidding. Like I would wear almost anything and I wouldn't think anything about it. And now that I look back, my future self, which is basically me now, I like to dress more on like the classy side. I like classy clothes. I like to look elegant. And even if it's not elegant, I like to at least look put together. I don't want someone to look at me and be like, oh my gosh, like what is she wearing? Or like, not that other people's opinions matter, but I just realized like that's actually more of my style. So figure out your style and dress as them. If future you wears a certain thing and current you is not even looking remotely similar, then take small steps to step into your wealthy era, whether that is constantly having your nails done or constantly having your hair done or constantly going to get that facial or just whatever it is. At least start to tap into that, because it'll start to snowball with the little things. And then eventually you wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, like I am that person. Wow, like when did this happen? See what I'm saying? So at least start now and just build it up, because becoming a new person doesn't happen overnight. That takes time, that takes habit, that takes routine. So that's another tip that I have as far as, you know, becoming a wealthy person. Now, when you do step into your wealthy era, and not even era, but like when you do become wealthy and you step into your potential, I want you to know to be very mindful of your influences. And I'm sure you're kind of like, what do you mean by that? Or maybe you do know what I'm talking about, but pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the people around you. I will say you don't want to become wealthy and then tell everyone you're wealthy, because everyone will start to switch up on you. Does that make sense? Because people, when they know you can afford it, they're not really gonna think twice about asking you. And then you're gonna seem like a bad person if you refuse to help them pay for something, or if you refuse to lend them like a couple $100s, or if you refuse to like, you know, like maybe donate to something, but it isn't really something you support, if that makes sense. So like when people realize you have it, you want to be careful. Honestly, I wouldn't even tell people when you get the money that you have the money, because you really just don't want to deal with that hassle. You really don't. You really, really don't. Personal piggy banks are a thing. People will look at you and be like, that's a piggy bank, endless money. Like, I'm gonna go ask her because we're besties. Of course she's gonna lend me a couple hundred. Or, oh, well, that's my relative. Like, I know they're gonna help me out. Oh, that's my distant cousin. I know we haven't talked in a couple years, but like, let me go hit her up right quick and tell her how much I love her, and then ask her for like, maybe like $200. You see what I'm saying? Don't tell people. Like, remain silent about your finances. As far as your actual influences, you just want to be careful about who you surround yourself with, because you don't want to surround yourself with people who are irresponsible for them with their money, because what is going to happen? They might influence you to be irresponsible with your money. Oh, let's get like one more night out. Let's have one more night out. Let's get like one more meal, you know. Let's get takeout today, but y'all just went like the past 4 days getting takeout, and they want some more takeout, and they're like, let's go. So not saying that's everyone. I'm not, you know, calling anybody out on this, but I'm just saying, like, you don't want to have this money and then be surrounded by people who are irresponsible with money, because that could potentially rub off on you, and then somehow you end up in debt. So, but yeah, these are just a couple of tips that I would recommend, and I really just wanted to come on here and just tell you, like, you will be wealthy. I know that mindset is with a lot of you out here, and I want you guys to stick through whatever you pursue. 2024, around the end of this year, it is more important than ever right now to really buckle down and do what you need to do. It is so important right now. You do not want to wait until crap hits the fan. Not saying it will, but you don't want to wait until crap hits the fan and be like, oh, like, I wish I started that business. I wish I started that YouTube channel. I wish I started that TikTok. You really don't want to wait to that point. And 2025 is almost here. So if you haven't started, if you haven't tapped into your potential, I'm telling you now, start now, please. All right, I hope you guys found today's advice helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.